Mike Flanagan has long been synonymous with intelligent horror, stories that explore trauma, grief, and the supernatural with equal sensitivity. But with The Life of Chuck, his newest adaptation of a lesser-known Stephen King short story, Flanagan delivers something wholly unexpected, a genre-defying, emotionally resonant film that isn't really a horror movie at all. Instead, The Life of Chuck is a surreal meditation on memory, identity, and the quiet beauty of ordinary life. Told in reverse, beginning with the end of the world and ending with a childhood memory, the film takes viewers on a strange, gentle, and sometimes confusing journey through the fragmented life of one man, Charles Krantz, played with aching sincerity by Tom Hiddleston. A story told backwards and from the heart. Stephen King's original story, from his 2020 collection If It Bleeds, unfolds in 3 parts, each depicting a different moment in Chuck's life. Flanagan stays faithful to this format, but expands its emotional and visual palette with his signature touch, subtle horror imagery, magical realism, and a deep affection for the inner lives of his characters. At first glance, the film feels like 3 separate short films, an apocalyptic sci-fi tale, a whimsical street musical, and a heartfelt coming-of-age drama. But as the pieces gradually coalesce, a single portrait of Chuck emerges, not as a superhero, victim, or villain, but as a regular man whose life contained love, loss, joy, and quiet significance. A different kind of Stephen King film. This is not the Stephen King of It or The Shining. There are no haunted hotels or killer clowns here, just the ghostly weight of memory, the impermanence of life, and the soft strangeness of dying. In that sense, The Life of Chuck belongs to a new wave of gentle existentialism in cinema, films that grapple with mortality not through spectacle, but through grace. Much like We Live in Time or Sacramento, Flanagan film is part of a post-pandemic cinematic movement that seeks catharsis rather than despair. The apocalypse that opens The Life of Chuck is not loud or fiery. Instead, stars fade, buildings quietly crumble, and humanity gently slips away, as if the universe itself is mourning a passing soul. Tom Hiddleston leads a stellar cast through life, love, and loss. Though Hiddleston receives top billing, The Life of Chuck is more of an ensemble piece, a collage of vignettes, each focusing on people Chuck loved or was shaped by. Young actors Benjamin Pajak and Jacob Tremblay beautifully portray Chuck in his youth, capturing the wonder and sorrow of growing up. Annalise Basso brings vibrant energy to the film's most joyous sequence, a spontaneous street dance that bursts with color and music. Veteran actors Mark Hamill and Mia Sara play Chuck's grandparents in the film's most emotionally potent segment, lending the story generational depth and weight. And as with all Flanagan projects, his muse Kate Siegel appears in a scene-stealing role that distills the film's message into a single, powerful line. Flanagan risky, genre-bending vision pays off. It would have been easy for The Life of Chuck to fall apart under its own ambition. The tonal shifts, from end-of-the-world dread to indie comedy quirk to heartstring-plucking drama, might frustrate some viewers looking for something more conventional. But for those willing to trust the journey, the payoff is profound. Flanagan doesn't just adapt King's story. He transforms it into a cinematic experience about living fully, loving deeply, and accepting the inevitable with grace. In doing so, he demonstrates that horror isn't the only genre capable of exploring death. Sometimes, a whisper is more powerful than a scream. A quiet revolution in storytelling. In an era dominated by loud blockbusters, algorithm-driven scripts, and recycled IPs, The Life of Chuck stands out for what it doesn't do. It doesn't follow traditional plot structure. It doesn't spoon-feed its themes. It doesn't pander or explode. It simply unfolds like a memory, fragmented, unpredictable, but deeply personal. With this film, Flanagan doesn't just break genre boundaries, he dissolves them entirely. The Life of Chuck is not horror, not drama, not sci-fi, not comedy, and yet it's all of these at once. Above all, it's a love letter to being alive, to dancing in the street, to watching the stars, to the strange miracle of existing, even for a little while.